I'm gonna apply. Yeah, I'm gonna apply for this grant, and I am gonna, I'm gonna just gather these materials myself. And so a couple things. Number one, I have them now, and I use them all the time. And something that Leslie Gran was mentioning in her phenomenal intro keynote speech today, a lot of things resonated with me, as I'm sure a lot of things resonated with you about what can students do, and also about the content that we provide for our students. Um, is okay if you're doing um, introductions, you're not always going to be doing introductions, but it's nice to do that feedback loop and then like a couple of months later revisit it. And so I'm constantly kind of mixing my videos to kind of keep the students on their toes, refreshed with, hey, even if we're doing a foods unit, I'll go back and I'll do another introductory video, a person talking about their age and like what their daily routine is like and things like that, so that we're not always keeping students in autopilot. We have to always keep them on their toes. In the middle, I visited a cafe and and this girl, I didn't even know who she was. So it was definitely out of my comfort zone to go down there and talk to her and have her describe all the foods. Because of course I can take pictures of the foods or I can take a picture of the menu. But it was really great to have her describe what everything was. And then I think I zoom in enough so I'm not sure if the prices are on there, but maybe the ingredients or the descriptions of the foods. And then on the right hand side is a short video of I visited Chinchero, an indigenous community, and she was talking to me about the plants, the medicinal plants. She was talking to me about the fabrics that they weave and how long they take, and the symbolism behind all the designs on the tapestries, which was fantastic. And so you get the raw footage, you have your videos, and it comes time to edit them. So I have Miguel Bayambrosio from Chincha, Peru on the left. I visited another cafe. Um, and so we have her talking to us about her preferences in foods. I also interviewed her. I asked her to introduce herself, talk about her routine, talk about her family, talk about her favorite foods, and all of that culture shock. So I have a bunch of videos with the same person. And then on the right-hand side, they had the lomo saltado, which is a typical dish in Peru. Más grande del mundo. So it was like this humongous, they were preparing for it, like pounds and pounds or kilos and kilos of potatoes and meat. And so a bunch of chefs collaborated and they were like out near a busy street cooking and preparing this wonderful event and this wonderful dish to kind of try to break the Guinness Book of World Records. So, what is the point of this? Yes, it's very personal to me, but what I want to convey to all of you is if you ever have the desire of, even on a small scale, of recording your own videos, I encourage you, hands down, record your own videos, even if they're 30 seconds to about 2 minutes. That's kind of the attention span of our students. Like even a 30-second video, I have easily spent 10 to 15 minutes kind of analyzing it with my students, having them make observations, having them make inferences. Sometimes I do it without the video and just let them listen to the audio. Sometimes I give them the transcript, so it's a interpretive text rather than the video. So that's one thing to definitely consider. Do I want to show them the video and then have them try to figure out what parts of the transcription, or do I want to maybe offer them the transcription as a support, especially if the video is very dense, maybe has information that they don't really know about yet. And then this last series of videos and photos is on the left, you see kind of a Google Doc with an activity. English is totally optional. If your students are more advanced, then definitely skip that part. But I have like second, third year students where I just want to make sure that they're not listening and copying, but not understanding the Spanish that they're writing down. So, and the most important thing that I convey to them during these video activities is that yes, you're going to be writing in English, but it's a way for me to visually check your papers and going around the room, or if I collect them, and see um, to what level you understood the information. And then when we go over it, we're going to be speaking predominantly in Spanish. And then this middle video was of my students in action filling out the picture talk activity. We're going to get to that in a minute. And then the right-hand side is just a glimpse into an app called ThingLink and all these different icons, like the map. Um, the Natividad is talking about travel. She's introducing herself. And then this little hamburger over here is she's talking about her favorite food, which happens to be ceviche. So again, this presentation, if you're joining, I'm not sure if you're allowed to join halfway through, but examples are in Spanish, but they're applicable to any language. So getting to today's objectives, examples are in Spanish, but strategies apply to any language. My YouTube channel, Pachas in Peru, is one of the focuses of today. Um, I stumbled upon this pathway to proficiency for teachers that Jill Schimmel had shared in one of her webinars, but we also, of course, have the pathway for students. So we're going to kind of touch upon that today. And then the last thing is a wonderful resource that some teachers know about, but in my different presentations at conferences, teachers really don't know about ThingLink. So just think, hey, do I know about ThingLink or not? And if I have a bunch of videos and texts and maybe maps that go together, how do I put them together? Because usually we just have them on a Google Doc, maybe like a web quest of some sort. And ThingLink is a great way to do a very visual and interactive web quest. You can integrate photos, video, audio clips, articles, and maps. And then I decided to include this big umbrella with the rain, with the standards, because everything technically should be sprinkled with the standards and making those connections. So kind of the standards are kind of like our umbrella covering everything um, so that everything is meaningful and directed towards proficiency. What can students do, right? That was Leslie Grant's. This is, the whole theme of our conference is what can students do and what can we do to help them, focusing on functions. So one of the questions for today is how can we engage and motivate students? Because that's the number one. If they're not engaged, if they're not motivated, it's really not ideal, right? So it's really ideal for them to be engaged and motivated. And how can we do that while meeting standards in a variety of lessons? Because we always want to kind of make sure that we kind of cycle through maybe the same activities, but with different topics. Um, so that students, again, are on their toes, like they're looking forward to like a new game or a new kind of activity that we're doing. We're not doing the same old, same old. So in the little light bulb here, I have some of my favorite activities. I have picture talk, which is applicable to elementary or even preschool, all the way up through, adult ed. ThingLink, which is, I'm going to talk about that today. Fishbowl conversations, four corners, recordable button activity, guided tour, which kind of goes hand in hand with ThingLink and video comparisons. And please, 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 if you like any of these, give me a thumbs up, send me a heart. I'm not sure if I'll be able to see any of that. Hopefully I will. Yeah, so here we go. And then what I wanted to share with all of you as well, my gift to you is this Google Doc. You can access it through the QR code on the right, and it will also be in the PDF of the presentation after this live version. So we have resource type and we have the specifics about it. So the videos that I have for the Spanish teachers in the group today, and also your friends, please share with your colleagues and your friends, is the YouTube channel that has over 10, like between 10 and 15 playlists. They're organized by topic and difficulty. And altogether, there's about 170 or so videos. Um, and then here we have thing links that have a lot of those videos put together in interactive activities. And the interesting thing, the really neat thing, is that if you just use one of these thing links, um, you have lessons probably over like a week if you are focusing on compras or going shopping or buying food or going to a historic site or talking about other things. And then over here, these are great resources for everybody. We have can-do statements, templates, the picture talk templates, the Google Slides, and the activity for picture talk. Um, I'll get into that shortly. I'll show you what the templates look like. And then transcriptions of our main video for today by Umbrosio. And then we have a Google Doc that ties in with the videos. And then I have templates for recordable buttons and four corners, which we're not going to get to today, but they are fabulous activities. So again, here's just a little intro to ThingLink. I'm going to click through what ThingLink is in case you don't know. And if you do know, you'll just see my specific ThingLink that focuses on the arts and profession. And the really interesting thing is that you can include, this might be a little bit overwhelming initially. And if you think that your students would be overwhelmed, you can definitely create your own thing link, or you can say, okay, well, just pick one photo and pick one video and tell me about it. And then you'll have you can use one of my templates. So really briefly, so you have the woven baskets. You can talk about this with your students or just have them explore it and write descriptions. Same thing here. We have another photo we have of the church. And then we have one more photo that is the basis of the picture talk that we're going to talk about in a minute. And then we have two videos about profession. And because of that, we have a briefcase. And these videos are less than 2 minutes, if I remember correctly. Less than 3 minutes for sure. And we have 3 videos on the arts. And we're going to explore the transcriptions of these pretty soon, and you'll see what activities you can create from those.
Hi, Remy.
Let's see.
Your insurance for your car?
Okay. So let me get out of there. And then, so here's how you make it. If you have videos, if you have media, how do you put all this together from scratch? So let's say you have access to a 360 photo or just a regular photo. Now you grab the URL, which is the address from YouTube, and you just click embed, copy and paste, add an icon, and done. So now this one photo has 2 videos embedded in it. And I'm just adding more and more and more because you know what? Some of us have the really advanced students. We want to challenge them. We want them to be able to, we want to give them the option. We want them to be able to choose. But wait a minute, we also have photos that we want to include in this. Let's have them just look and describe what the photos are without having to focus so much on what they're listening to, right? Hey, so here's a tapestry. I might bring my tapestry that I brought from Peru. I might bring that to my classroom and say, hey, this wool that's in the basket here, like that's what they use to to weave it together. And so I'm including more photos there. I have a travel video. And I also wanted to add that there's accessibility features. So there's features for colorblind, there's features for ADHD. You can like, yeah, you can highlight nouns, highlight verbs. You can have a female voice or a male voice if you want this read out loud. And then you just simply share the link with your students, and then you're all set. Okay, so the main activity for today that I wanted to, and hopefully if you already do picture talk, this is kind of a different way. And I just wanted to give a shout out to Justin Slocum Bailey. I learned about this picture talk, I would say 5 or 6 years ago from him, and I've been using it probably on a monthly basis with my students. My main focus as a teacher, besides making observations and inferences about photos, is questions. I always ask my students to formulate questions because for me, that's really the basis of carrying on a conversation. Any student can kind of memorize what to say, but then formulating a question is like a really big tool in their tool belt. So here we are in Peru. And so we have a little caption here, and then I just present the photo to them. So as you can see in the middle photo, we have, a larger version of this, and the students are given the empty sheet that you see on the right. They make three observations, they make three questions, and then they make three inferences. So as you all can see, I kind of made corrections there. The student wrote, "Oh, they are dancing," but "they are dancing" is an observation. So yeah, students are always working on inferences, like kind of go past the obvious, go past what you're seeing, and then just a kind of like a little grammar tweak. But that's really not the focus of this activity. The focus is more getting them to communicate. It's very low prep. It's very communicative. And the great thing is that it's inquiry based because I'm not telling them anything about this. I probably wouldn't even say, oh, these people are in Peru. So kind of guess, where are they? So, just with this one activity that can take anywhere from 15 to like 45 minutes, you're hitting three standards. So, here we have the interpersonal communication. It's not a conversation per se. However, when they're negotiating meaning, like, oh, I think this, that, and the other thing, and then their partner, or maybe it's a bigger group if your classes are more than 20, 25, or maybe even 30 students, hey, here's what I'm observing. And then you can instruct them to write their own observations and then share, or talk it through first and then write down like your best observations as a group. But everyone writes. That's the most important thing, that even though you're collaborating, everyone needs that writing practice. And of course, the presentational communication when they're talking to each other. And again, going back to the interpersonal, when they're negotiating what their ideas are, that's where you kind of get into that interpersonal aspect. And then I put standard four relating to cultural practices, products, and perspectives, because they're kind of getting a glimpse into that. They might not know, but they're making inferences like, oh, these boys are dancing. Are there any girls there? Oh, it's just boys. And oh, what kind of dance is that? Oh, and there happens to be like this boy is sitting on, I think, what looks like a box, and it has text on it. Oh, it says Peru. Oh, great. And they're all wearing long sleeves, so I think maybe it'll be winter time. And oh, there's palm trees back there. So observations about their clothes, the fact that they're all boys, they're young boys. Yeah, and like, where are they? What are they doing? Like, um, yeah, what kind of dance is that? What does it mean to them? Are they family? Are they friends? Do they always do this? Like, how often do they do this? Is it a special occasion? So there are just an endless list of questions, endless list of, like, three for me is not enough. And I think for the students too, like three is just very limiting. However, it's nice to limit it because then you get a whole bunch of, I ask for students like, hey, what are your observations? And I think I call on at least 3, 4, 5 students for observations, 3 to 5 volunteers for preguntas, and then 3 to 5 volunteers for inferences. So you get a lot of student feedback. And I tend to not correct because I just really want them to share without feeling like I'm going to be correcting them in front of the class. And so here we are. I have this template shared with everybody, the can-do statements. I have to admit that I made this several years ago and I haven't used it consistently, but when I did use it, it was really good. And now, since I've kind of recreated it for this presentation, I think I'm going to start using it again. I also like when Leslie Gran showed that visual of all the circles and how maybe you can give students stickers or have them check off like the can-do statements for the whole unit. That's a great idea. I think I might even try that because that just seems like, okay, this template that you're seeing right now is very limiting, which is good because the students are just focusing on three. Based on the picture talk, I can present information to classmates about a photo using simple sentences. It's standard three. Picture talk, I can understand and produce simple questions while figuring out how to formulate questions about the picture. That's standard two. And then the last one is picture talk. I can understand cultural practices and products to determine perspectives, standard four. And then what students do, which I like a lot, is they put in the date that maybe they're not able to do it yet, or they can do it with help, or they can do it without help. And then I'm always curious to see what their reflection is at the end. How did you do this week? And in English or Spanish, share a few ideas. Okay, so we're kind of nearing the end. I would love to be able to elaborate, but I'm kind of because of limited time, I'm gonna move along a little bit more quickly so that we have time for questions at the end. So video comprehension. As you saw when I walked everyone through the thing link a couple minutes ago, when I clicked Las Artes and I showed you the pictures and the 5 video options, it's great. There's 5 videos total in that panoramic photo of the plaza, which I grabbed from Google, by the way. That was not my photo because um, uh, going there and taking the 360 photo is not my cup of tea. That's my husband's job. He likes to just stand there for a couple of minutes and like get a 360, but they're available online. So just grab them from online, and it really gives students the perception that they're there. And that to me is so impactful for them to kind of almost like be that little orange person in Google Maps and kind of just see all around. And there's so much to look at. You have signage, maybe, yeah, you have signage, and then you have, the whole atmosphere, and they can talk a lot about that. So you have 5 videos. There's only 2 required in the activity. So then there's a lot of possibilities for students to share, hey, well, I watched a video about profession, and hey, I watched a video about arts. And then they share their information, and then they listen to each other. And maybe they'll even ask questions if they're curious, like, hey, what did you say? Hey, did you learn about this or that? And then they can ask those questions. So it's almost like it is an extension of the picture talk. Uh, and then they're sharing the info. The other thing that I have in the instructions is it's our way of like getting students to do more work without actually telling them that they have to. But it's like, oh, choose 2 of the 5. Some students will watch all the videos to see like maybe which ones they like the best. And then of those 5, choose 2. So again, so you have standard 1, you have standard 3, and standard 4. So of course, with a video, you have interpretive communication. They're listening, they're writing down the information, and then they present it to each other. And then standard 4 is that while listening to the video and writing things down, they're seeing, oh, examples of Zapateo and then the influence, Española, Africano, Africana. Um, so is it clicking? Maybe. But then when we go over it as a class, um, then I'll kind of give them whatever they need as far as the information with the culture. Okay, so here we go. Here's a really, I have a series of 4 slides, video 2, video 3, video 4, and video 5 with the red highlighted text, which speaks to products, practices, and perspectives. And then the visuals that you see on the right are kind of just a visualized version of what's in the red text. So the person in the video was Miguel Ambrosio, a very well-known dancer, musician, instrument maker. He makes cajones, which are the drums. And so basically for Spanish teachers, you have no problem reading the Spanish. For those of you who are not Spanish teachers, I've gone ahead and I've translated the most important points in this one video. It's 2 minutes. And I wanted to mention that the transcription is just a piece of the video. So by Ambrosio's goal was to establish a cultural center for the youth. He's very invested in the local youth, and he even mentions in one of his videos that someone has asked him, well, hey, why not go to the city? Like, go to a larger city, build your cultural center there. But he really embraces the idea of staying local and giving back to his own community. To safeguard traditions of the Afro-Andina community and to strengthen the community's identity. So in your own language, in the cultures that you teach, think about how this would apply. Is is the city a priority or rural areas, right? Like where are the resources for the community? So when he said that, and when I reflected and even on the presentation today, I always think, wow, like, yes, of course, if somebody lives in a city, cities are beautiful, cities are wonderful, they have endless resources, but it's really nice to see someone who lives, it's considered a city, but he lives kind of kind of has a suburban rural feel and to kind of have that idea to give back to the community. So the product from this one video of 2 minutes is the Cultural Center of Music and Dance. And the practice that's highlighted is preserving the arts, giving back to the community, and valuing the youth. And then the perspective just from this 2 minute video is that the arts reflect the community's identity and it needs to be preserved and carried on from generation to generation. Now we move on to video 3. And again, all of these are in this kind of compiled in this ThingLink presentation or ThingLink activity. So we have the red highlighted area. By Ambrosio mentions 2 artists that have always been part of the fabric of the community and have in one way or another passed along their knowledge and expertise. So as you can see, it's not just him wanting to pass on, it's him having um, people when he was younger that he looked up to that have passed along this knowledge and expertise. So again, product, practice, and perspective. There's key figures in the community, family, friends, and parents. They're educating the youth and leaving a positive impression. And then the perspective is that Peruvians value the knowledge and expertise of the elderly. So again, in your culture, think about, are the elderly revered? You know, where is the respect? Who is respected? How are they respected? And passing it on to the youth in the community. Video 4, he mentions that his father instilled the tradition of Zapateo in all of his children. And it's interesting to mention, and when I met him in person, because I traveled down to Peru to video all of these different people from in the YouTube channel, um, that he is one of 14 or 15. And I said to him, I said, like, do any of your siblings do other things? Like, are they not involved in this family tradition, this like carrying on the family legacy? He said, no, everybody's involved. Everybody's involved. And everybody, um, they travel, they have their different groups, and it's amazing. And when I tell students this, they're just like mind blown. His father instilled the tradition of Zapateo in all of his children, mind you, 14, 15 children. They had been brought up in Zapateo, lived was Zapateo, respected their ancestors through embracing the art of Zapateo from an early age. So they start from babies, start from, like he even said when he was 4 years old, he was already like practicing. So the product again is Zapateo dance. Practice is parents passing it along, and the perspective is embracing Zapateo as a way to respect elders or ancestors and carry on the family legacy. And the last one, we're running out of time. He describes his music as Afro-Peruana, and I thought it was really key when he mentioned that he clarified that in Africa they don't play what is played in Peru, nor do Peruvians play what Africans play. It's a very specific music. It's evolved for many, many years, and it's important to be aware of that. Peruvian communities have a deep understanding and appreciation of their music because the knowledge and practice this is our past generation to generation. So we see kind of a pattern here in the perspective, right? So the products and practices kind of might change slightly, but the perspectives kind of they overlap quite a bit. And again, I wanted to bring us back to the idea that, okay, we don't just have to present a video to students and have them maybe fill in the blanks or write in what they understood, but kind of flip it around and always think of the option of the transcription as the first activity without mentioning to them that it's a video, and also to mention the text type. I purposely didn't really put any punctuation here because, hey, when somebody is talking, it's not how they write. People talk and write differently. And so he might say no along the way, but he's not saying no. He's saying no, like asking a question because he wants to emphasize what he just said and repeating the same words over and over again. In the transcriptions that we saw, I purposely didn't erase or like delete the repeated words because, oh yes, like in the first line here, bueno, la música empecé gracias a mi padre, no? So he's not saying that he didn't, he's saying like, no, right? So it's important to bring the text type up to students like, okay, well, he's speaking versus like the way that we write. They're very different. So a transcription like this, interpretive reading, is really like, hey, where would you put the punctuation? Right? Where are the question marks? Where's the periods? Um, and also the important fact that like part of the sentence is a phrase, and then like for example, the no would be the only word with question marks because sometimes students think, oh yeah, the question mark has to go at the very beginning. But anyway, I'm getting too nitty-gritty right now. Let's move on. So again, this is the last part of the presentation. I'm sharing all these resources with you. You can access them through the QR code. I have my YouTube channel linked. The thing links that I made are linked, and all of them have at least 2 or 3 videos, menus, if they're food related, some type of text. And then the Google Docs or Canva templates are down here. Let's delve into this one really quick if we have time. So you just fill in, you replace the background image with whatever image you're working on with your students, the name of the activity. And again, for picture talk, you just walk around, make 3 observations, ask 3 questions, and then make 3 inferences. And I always emphasize to my students, especially for classroom community, that it's really important for them to change partners. And then also for the students who work really quickly, I say, well, elaborate your sentence. If you only have 2 or 3 words in your sentence, like make it longer. Or if you have extra time, figure out other observations. Always try to extend that. Make 5, 6, 7, but verbally. So the first slide is observe. Then the second slide is ask questions. And then the last slide is make observation. I'm sorry, inferences, write, reflect, and then share. So that's the template for the picture talk. And then we have the activity, which you saw along the way in the student work on the right-hand side. I created a info gap activity. So if you assign two videos and you pair up students, maybe hopefully it's just an even number of students, but if not, then you can improvise. So we have, let's say, two videos and there's two students. So one student watches video one, another student watches video two. They take their respective notes, then they share what they understood, and then they write in the middle what the similarities are. And then one thing I've gotten into in the past few years is a purpose for the follow-up questions. If you were to meet this person in the video, what would you ask? And again, going back to and if you joined kind of part of the way through, I wanted to highlight the fact that there's Fund for Teachers grants available, January deadline for next year, and then the Mead Fellowship, which is available through the state organization, and then you are in the running for the Northeast Regional um, kind of competition, right, to be selected as a possible Mead Fellowship. I am recipients of both, and they are fantastic. If you have any questions, let me know. You can email me and reach out, and I'll help you. And also reach out to Jill Schimmel and any of your supervisors and ask them about those two opportunities for professional development. But the cool thing is, if you have these videos, they're your own, right? So you can even reach out to the people that were interviewed and see, hey, can you zoom into my class if that's allowed in your district? And hey, maybe the students, if they write these questions down, they will actually be able to ask the people in the video the question. So that gives them a real scenario to kind of follow through and make those questions extra good. I will leave it at that right now, but I encourage you, please click on these links and explore the over 10 to 15 templates and activities that I have gifted you for today. And if you have any questions, I'd love to hear from you all. And thank you again for your patience on the start of the rocky start to the presentation today. I really enjoyed presenting to you. And I hope to see you at Nectville. Hopefully you're all going. It's in your neck of the woods, so I'll be there.
Endless engagement and creativity with video clips. Beth Pachas. Did I say that right?
Yeah, Beth
Beth,
Pacha.
thank you so much. Sorry for the tech problems before. It was an amazing presentation today. Beth has been teaching Spanish for 20 years now in the great state of Connecticut. Thank you. We really appreciate. We gained so many great ideas from you today. I wonder if the link that you had before with the Google Docs, are you able to share that with us?
Yes, and it's also available in the QR code on the first page if the participants have access to the PDF I'll be sending shortly. And then also on page 11, right here. If anybody wants to put their phone up to the screen right now, I can definitely also share it with you so you can distribute it to the whole district.
All right, sounds great.
Thank you all. It was a pleasure.
Thanks so much. Enjoy the rest of your day, everyone. If you want to stay behind a little bit for the links, please do so. I'm going to see if I can access the resources now, and I'll share the link myself. All
Okay.
right,
Thank
thank
you.
everyone. Thank you again, Beth.
Yep, you're very welcome. Thank you.
Can we have the attendance code, please?
Yeah, I just posted. Should I share again?
Yes, thank you.
Sure.
Is this the same link we have to join later, or is different links?
This is the code for attendance. I'm sharing the whole message here. You go to Teach Hub and how to do, and the code is right below. Okay, UPDMQA. That's the attendance code for this session.
What about the other sessions that are today? Do we have to use this link?
I can share the whole program with you. Right now, I'm getting the link to the Google Doc. So everyone can have the Google Doc, okay? Just give me a second. I'm getting the QR code.
Maria, I put it in the chat.
Oh, wonderful. Perfect. Thanks so much.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
I couldn't record my attendance for the previous webinar.
It says the code does not work.
Me too.
For me too, because it says that I was registered to another session, but I received the email for this one saying confirming that you are registered for session B and then with the title of this one.
I had the same problem before.
Yeah, the code is not working.
Okay, I'll check now. No panicking. Just stay there. I'll do it, okay?
Okay, thank
I'm
you.
troubleshooting here. So
Good morning.
everyone knows where
I
they
have
should
the
go,
same.
right?
Good morning. I have the same problem. I can register the call.
Okay, here, I'm going to open the program and share my screen with you, okay?
Okay, thank you.
Okay, just give me a second. Screen one, that should be it. Okay. Just mute yourself for now so we are on the same page. All right, so here is what I was trying to get before. I'm going to share the link with everyone. Now, what I hear you saying is that here's the program. So we just finished with the sessions now. The next session will not kick off until 11:30, so everyone should have time. If you are trying to go to session D, that's the link. So I'm saying when I click here, session D, let me go there, session D, here. It sends you to another, it says sending you to this, the Zoom you open. You know, I had a lot of Zoom issues today myself right there. You see, it opens up. So just wait, it's probably not opened yet, all right? Tom is right there, I can see.
I think we're talking about the attendance code for the session we were just present.
Okay, so
Maria, I'm sorry. For my colleagues, if they put all capitals, it should work.
it should be exactly how it is here. It's all capital. I'm
Yeah,
gonna put
it's all
again,
capital.
okay?
Yeah.
Mhm.
It needs to be all capital.
It's telling me that the code doesn't match, and I put all capitals.
Can you put the code in the chat again, please?
Yeah.
Yeah, I see it now. Thank you.
Remember, this is session B, okay? Session B. I know it takes a while for one to get adjusted to Protrax. It is complex.